r/AskReddit by Reddit. What was your I gotta break up with this person immediately moment? Serious. I was in college and had just got back to my apartment from a weekend at home. I'd arranged for a guy I'd been on a half dozen dates with to come over and hang out for a bit. I was getting into the relationship and could really see it going somewhere. When he got to my place he was basically frothing at the mouth, screaming at me that he couldn't be seeing me on Facebook hanging out with a bunch of other guys. My sister-in-law had posted a picture of me and my 5 brothers. I explained that to him, but it didn't matter. I'd already made up my mind and I was done with him. I told him to get the duck out of my apartment and he took that as an invitation to slam me up against a wall and kiss me. Thank God my roommate was home and came out with a softball bat. Butthole made the only good decision since he got there and decided to leave. Punched a hole in the wall and kicked a door off the pantry on his way out though. I wish I could say that was the last I saw of him, but he went full stalker for a few years. Showed up at different places I lived a few times. Ended up getting a restraining order and having to call the cops a couple times. Then I went years without hearing from him. Then on the week of my wedding he called me asking me to reconsider. Yeah, I'm going to leave the love of my life for a crazy violent stalker. I dated a military guy my senior year of high school. About a month in, he tells me his life plan: get married to me, have 3 children together, leave for the Marines at age 18. He was 17 at the time, serve 4 years a day he gets out, kill himself, so that I and our 3 children could live off his military benefits. That's it. That was his whole life plan. I was not allowed any sort of say on the matter. It was foiled when he broke his ankle playing basketball because when I told him he needed to go to the hospital, he explained to me that he would not take orders from a woman and proceeded to walk on a broken ankle for 2 weeks. He couldn't run by that time, so I don't think he made it through basic. Serves you right, you crazy idiot. It took me another few months to work up the courage to stop talking to him, as I was genuinely afraid he or his friends would become violent with me if I ended the relationship. I've heard from a few mutual friends that he still refers to me as the crazy ex for leaving him. TLDR, military ex wanted me to be a single mother of 3 by age 22. I had no problem with her having guy friends and even staying friends with an ex. Then I found out she had been banging her ex, which I was obviously really upset about, but we were engaged and worked through it. She said she wouldn't talk to him anymore and blah blah. Then I found out she would talk to him now and then, but she had excuse like, oh, I had car trouble or something dumb. Then she got mad that I was trying to control her, being adamant about not having friends and saying he was still a friend. I said, well, pardon me for not wanting you to see the guy you've been cheating on me with anymore. Then one night she didn't come home from her parents, so I finally got a hold of her and said, are you coming home? She was like, I don't know, I can't be around you right now, I might go to ex's. I freaked out cause WTF. She hung up on me and wouldn't answer my calls, so I called her parents' landline and said, hey, is she there? Her mom said, yeah, let me get her. I said, no, just tell her to come get her stuff and get out of my life. She said, okay, I'll tell her. It was so much relief and depression at the same time, but it was so necessary. After I moved in with him, but I kept it going because I was naive. He promised that he would keep the place clean. He never had a clean place. Kept making promises to be more grown up and stop living like a student/pack rat. I was having stomach issues with certain food items and was too depressed to cook. He knew that I couldn't eat certain things, but he cooked it for me anyway because he thought he was a great cook, or I should make something for myself. Always use the past as ammunition to avoid taking the blame. If I got upset because he didn't take out the garbage when he said he would tell me about the time he picked me up late at night because I got stranded and this was trivial. Took me too long to believe that he just didn't care at all. He would also leave the room if I got upset over anything because he believed emotions were a waste. So I had to cry by myself. He also threw parties at our place on a work night and would stay up playing games when we needed to be somewhere early the next morning. I couldn't wake him up and we end up missing everything I planned. So yeah, he really didn't care about me at all. Fun friend, but terrible partner. I dated someone, who I'll call lover, or L, for about 1.5 years, and it started out lovely, until they started telling me they would kill themselves. I knew that L was depressed, and was diagnosed as such by a professional, so I rationalized their behavior, by thinking to myself, oh, they're just struggling. They can't control it. They even went as far as to threaten to kill themselves, if I left them. I wouldn't say it was just one moment that brought me to my senses, because a few come to mind. 1. One day, my best friend started talking to me about how L's behavior was super selfish and rude, including them putting down others to feel better themselves. This made me realize that no, it's not just behavior they can't control. They just don't respect me. 2. The night before my birthday, I decided to talk to one of those 24/7 helplines in the form of an online chat room, and I told the stranger on the other side everything, the good and the bad. When they said that the person I was dating was emotionally abusive, it all just clicked for me. I had looked up signs of an abusive relationship before, but to hear someone else, without bias, say it suddenly empowered me. 3. The next morning, my birthday, when I got to school and met with Elle and their friends in the hallway, they decided to box me out as a joke, excluding me from the conversation. It was funny at first, but after a while, I just left. It wasn't that they didn't acknowledge my birthday, but that they just clearly didn't care about my feelings, as I was visibly distressed. A minute later, Elle caught up behind me as I was walking down the hallway, and they were upset that I had left the group so abruptly. No apology for upsetting me, just saying you can't leave like that, that's not cool. I broke up with them later that day, as a birthday present to myself. Dated a girl that was incredibly toxic. After only 2 months I began to feel used. She would ask me for money a lot, which I didn't mind at first, but it got to be a near weekly thing. And she never seemed to use the money for what it was meant for, and tried to leave several times. She asked her friend to contact me, which turned into a guilt trip to make me stay. They would say things to me like, "You're her only chance of living," and stuff. It got to the point where my ex was telling me what she would do to herself if I ever left her, including suicide. This all was definitely the red flag for me. I spent hours reading other stories with this sort of situation involving threats of suicide, and had to come to terms with the fact that I can't control her actions, and her behavior was detrimental to my well-being. I don't know if it's considered emotional abuse or anything. If it is, then I'd like to know. I felt really awful, but decided I just couldn't fall victim to the manipulation and guilting again and again, and my best course of action was to ghost her. I understand ghosting is hurtful and wrong, but me and several friends I asked felt this was the best course of action for my situation. I wish nothing but good things for her, and I hope she gets the help she needs. Update. Her friend ended up sending me an email of her own accord regarding things that had happened on friend's end, moved and lost contact with ex when she got a new phone, and I was ushered back into contacting my ex after I told the friend what I had done and why. The guilting resumed, but I stood my ground and asked to remain friends for a while. In reality, I'm never entering a relationship with her ever again, and only send her minimal responses to avoid lengthy conversations where I can. She tried sending me one of those, the perfect spot for a date 3 video posts, and got hurt when I asked her why she was sending that when we were only friends. Sigh. Yeah, that's definitely emotional abuse, at least in my eyes. I was 17, and I had been dating this girl for almost 2 years at this point. Let's call her Laura, and I had already started to feel iffy about the relationship. She got really clingy, would spam my phone when I was busy, at work or school, and couldn't reply, and would generally try to guilt trip me into doing whatever, partially my fault for being a pushover. But regardless, it was exhausting. So I was studying for an exam when she starts spamming my phone again. I tried to ignore it, but she won't stop. When I finally check, there's a bunch of texts where she says she's at work and doesn't feel good, that she misses me, etc. Then one that says it's her mom and that Lauren had a heart attack. So I obviously freak out. She had been stressed with work, school, and her whole life sucked, but I didn't expect this. I've never been more worried. I felt so guilty for ignoring her, but then things started to get really weird. I couldn't understand why her mom was texting me from Lauren's phone when she had my number and texted me multiple times. Also, she spelled my name correctly. Her mother always misspelled mine in our text messages. Still, I ignore this because I'm scared it's serious, and I ask if I can come and see her, and she says not to, and then that she has to leave. A couple of hours later Lauren texts me, and all she wants to talk about is our relationship and how she misses me. I called her mom, and she said that Lauren was perfectly fine. I'm guessing she had made up some plan to scare the crap out of me, and that I would realize how much I loved her, or whatever. I broke up with her after she wouldn't admit she lied, but had no proof she ever had a heart attack. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comments section below.